Boop, boop, boop. Let me go over here and see what's going on over here, because of course it is just one of those days. There it is.
There's that. Okay.
Oh, it's really laggy.
Yeah, very laggy. Oh, at least it's somewhat decent on Twitch, if not very grainy at the moment. I guess the internet has to catch up with it, maybe? Oh, Wi-Fi signal slow.
Weird. It was fine before. I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea.
Okay. Now we're just waiting for our guest to get here.
Yeah, there's lag all over the place. Hey, James.
Oh, hey. I haven't seen you come up over here yet, but there you are.
I made beef stew the other night. It was fucking kick-ass.
It was really good. Listen. Oh my God. It was so good. Oh boy. All right, so I'm gonna hold it together. I had some really bad news right before the stream was supposed to start, actually. Whoosha. Whoosha. Holding it together. First get stew Sunday. Oh my God, that sounds good. I can't figure out how to comment. Okay, so if you're watching this, you have to hit, there's a little indicator that says live chat. You hit live chat. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if this will show up. Barely. Okay, so this right here says live chat, and then it pulls up the chat, and then you have to go where there are lines next to the X. Don't hit the X. Just hit the lines, and it'll say top chat and live chat. You want to hit live chat because top chat is useless. Hey, Cher. Cher, I'm going to send you a message over on Discord real quick. Yes, switch from top chat to live chat, because otherwise, it's one of those don't do like I do things, because every once in a while I forget, and then I'm like, what is going on? What is even happening? Hold on, let me go check and see if she has. Okay, let me. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can do something real quick. I'm sorry, y'all. I will be with you in just a second. I do apologize. Trying to help our guest get on the live stream. So let me. Work with me. Do not work against me. There has to be. Share. Copy link. Wait, you said you were. I don't think I can. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. We got this. We have the technology. Hey Josh, how you doing? What's up? What was I doing? Oh yeah, okay. Don't have a chat option live or otherwise. You may have to refresh. She's here, but we have to. Okay, so if you're on, let me X out of this real quick. I don't know if you're on a computer or on your phone. Do you, let's see if I can do this without, like, okay. I'm seeing that same thing. What the? What is even happening? Oh, okay. To my guest, if you are on your computer, then the chat should be off to the side, just automatically. And if you're on your phone, I do believe there's like the chat should also be there automatically. And this is it's a live stream, so the chat should automatically like pop up. Trying to figure out. If I could send you a guest link. Give me 1 second. I've never done it this way before, so I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Let me see if I can get you a. If you're not seeing the chat. She's having a hard time getting into the chat.
Onto the StreamYard?
No. She's watching it on regular, like, YouTube.
Okay.
And she said she's not seeing the chat.
Is she on her phone? If she's watching it sideways, it's going to be hard to see the chat. If she turns it vertically, then the chat should be below the video.
There's a tab to click for the chat. Make sure to mute the YouTube channel and click the link. Right.
We're trying to get her to the channel, to the chat section of the channel right now.
Yeah. Are you on a phone or computer? This has been a day. This has been a fucking day. Not to you, Mary. Not at all.
No.
Even remotely.
Other stuff. The baby monster has arrived. Tech support is here to help.
Ah.
What are you,
Right.
what are you trying to say?
Something to share?
Okay.
This is funny. Hey Barbara, good to see you.
Hey, Barb.
How you doing? How is everyone doing? Hey, Roxy, is that Roxy from New Orleans or another Roxy? Because I know like 10 Roxys. I'm trying to figure out which Roxy is the Roxy that I'm talking to.
You can even see my gray hairs on the camera.
I know, right? Like the lighting makes me look like I'm blonde, but
You are blonde. That's blonde. Your natural hair color is blonde.
no, that's white. That is. I looked in the mirror earlier and I was like, oh.
I deny that reality and replace it with my own.
What? Back here. Hey, Mary, there you are. Okay, good.
Yay!
We got you.
All right, dope. Gotta take off. Okay.
Right
See you
on,
in a little bit.
James. We will be here. Wait, is this it?
Yes.
Because they changed things. So
Copy.
Copy. Okay. All right. Okay.
And you can post. Don't forget to, yep.
Okay. I'm
Oop.
sorry for all of the weirdness. Today has been a day. We just leave it there.
Okie dokie. Mary, the link should be popping up in the comments in just a sec.
Yep. I'm gonna go over and turn this music down a little bit.
Okay.
It's a little bit.
Not loud?
That's better.
Okay.
That's better.
Okay.
I like the music though. I do like. Listen, I want to do like a thing at the beginning with it, because
The whole intro bit.
yeah, I'm gonna do all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Today is going to be kind of a weird live stream today. I have to warn y'all. I'm pulling it together. Whoosha. We pull it together. So, Mary, you should be able to click on the link right here, and that should bring you up. Mark is bobbing along. Yeah. Hi, there you are. Okay. All right, here we go. We get started. All right, you.
Oh, wait, lots of time to go.
Has a lot of space there. It can fit half the space.
But we gotta leave Mama alone too.
Love you.
They want to say love you.
Love you, Blackhead. Love you, Mama.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing? It's I've had a hard time on the internet today. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
been
I hear you say something and then I'm hearing an echo.
okay, you may have to pause the video. Also, I will check and make sure that I can only move my head so much because I'll start roboting. Fun times. Okay, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more. And okay. Make sure to mute the YouTube channel. Sharemere's awesome. Okay. Do you want to introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and what we're doing?
Okay.
So this is Mary. She is a TikToker, and she does this great page where she talks about the history of women. Sometimes wearing ear pods or headphones will help. True. What you need, Mary?
Yeah, I've got earbuds in, but I'm catching like I hear you and then it comes back and plays again.
Like a loop?
Yeah, so it's Oh, now I can hear myself saying that.
Okay, do you have the YouTube channel on? Like on another page?
Ha!
Yeah.
This is why I don't use technology.
This happens all the time on YouTube. All the time. This is like breaking your cherry, all right? It's just standard. This is just what happens.
See, I didn't make videos on TikTok for a long time because I'm like, I am so technologically challenged that nobody is going to watch now.
Yeah, but I mean, your page is awesome. I've been watching your page for a while now, and so she talks about women in history that you've probably never heard of, but should have. And there's this is so true. Right here, there's a bit of a learning curve. Yes. Yes, there is. And thank you.
Especially if you're old.
Hey, now I'm about to be 49. I don't want to hear it.
I'm
Shush.
46.
Just, technology, I mean, has changed a lot. I used to build computers and whatnot, and now I'm just like, what?
Yeah, I mean,
what?
if it wasn't for technology, I wouldn't be married or have children. So, but I'm so old, I met my husband on MySpace.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back when you could have like your top 10 favorite people, and if they made you mad, you could boost them down.
Mm-hmm.
I learned HTML from MySpace.
Yeah, so did I. I think everyone did back then. Yeah. Yep. So, look like I'm in my 20s. Sure.
Yeah, you do. I wouldn't have guessed that we were the same age or close to the same age by any means.
I don't feel like I'm in my 20s. That is for sure. All right. So, yeah. So, your page is going back to the top 10. It's one of my favorite top 10 pages, and really thrilled to have you here. I'm a bit out of it today. Right before coming on here, I got some news, and I'm pulling it together. So,
I promise not to make you cry.
would not be hard right now. Would not be hard. And then people would bitch because, oh my gosh, she's crying on her channel. Blah, 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 blah.
Human.
God forbid.
Right?
Are you kidding? We're not supposed to be human. What?
No.
Nah.
No. Woo! I'm trying to drop my table apparently. I can't be trusted with anything today. I am so sorry.
It's like Mercury in retrograde or something. That's what I asked myself earlier. I'm like, what is even happening? Like, I tried to schedule this, and there were problems, and then it's just, oh God.
Yeah, and then I got called into a meeting at like 4:45 on Friday.
Wow, that's very nice of them. That's
yeah.
amazing.
I work in accounting, so.
Yeah, but what is so extraordinary that it can't wait till Monday?
Yeah, we won't talk about my job because it is not fun. And I have the worst supervisor on the face of the planet, so that's why I do TikTok videos. That's why I tripped and fell into history videos, because please don't go back to my older videos. They're really awful and stupid. And but one day somebody criticized me for something I'd said, and I was like, oh no, you didn't. So I came with receipts because I'm good at Google. That's what I tell everybody. I'm not a history major. I hated history until like 4 months ago. And then,
really?
Yeah. And then this guy was like criticizing me, and I was like, okay. So then I made a whole a whole 3-minute video and cited my sources. And I was like, you know what, if you feel like you need to call me out, go ahead, but you better back it up with facts, because that's what I did. So then I was just like, wow. And then it got views, and I'm just like, I don't want to be famous, but it's kind of cool that I'm bringing information that I didn't have, because I'm learning right along with everybody else. When I do a video, I do the research, I cross-reference, because I never want to be one of those people who is putting out false information intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a fun thing, and I'm sure that once my ADHD gets fed up, I'll move on to something else.
It's really interesting though, because you're talking about people. Literally, I love history. I've been eyeball deep in history since childhood, and there are a lot of people you talked about I've never heard of, and I'm like, well, I mean, that's really not surprising,
Yeah.
given how women are treated in history. Yeah,
Oh,
Cher,
yeah.
that's TikTok, Cher. I think that should be. Um,
Ow. I was trying to raise up my table and I just hit my hand. I can't be trusted.
it's all good. It's one of those days, It's just one of those days where you're like, what in the actual fuck is going on?
Yes. So I was like, I should not have agreed to come on because I'm not going to make it in time, and I hate being late.
We were having problems over here anyway. Like the stream didn't come up until later, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. I'm probably going to have to start streaming more often. But whatever. just the whole idea of F all the way off is kind of my motto today. So,
Yeah. I've been chucking it in the fuck it bucket.
all the way. And
Yeah.
putting my foot in there to compact it down so I can chuck more in there. Yeah, that's today. Oh wow, this is gonna be interesting. Awesome sauce. And our amazing chairman has a link for you on TikTok.
Oh my.
Yep. So
Just don't scroll back more than a few months. I keep saying I'm going to make those other videos private because I'm so embarrassed by them. But like, why not show the metamorphosis? Because literally, when I started using TikTok, it was just because I wanted to watch other people. And then I watched, her name was Burritos and ADHD. And she's like a weightlifter who helps train people who have neurodivergence because they move differently and they learn differently. So, in one video she had said, I don't understand people who don't make content and then come in here and comment on my videos. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can understand that. So I was like, it took me a couple of weeks before I worked up the nerve, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do my first video. And then I had a panic attack because I put it up.
I did the same thing. I was like, oh my, this app is weird, and I don't understand what in the hell is even happening. And then, yeah, now I'm hooked.
Yeah, but I was like, why would anybody want to look at me anyway? I'm just this old woman who's trying to figure shit out. And then it progressed and it progressed. And now, because of TikTok, I've actually reached a point where I'm speaking up in my real life more. Like with my job, that's part of the reason I was called into a meeting, because I had the nerve to speak up and be like, no, this is bullshit. We're not doing it. So, but yeah, so TikTok has made me strong. Wow, my arms looked really long there.
So, okay, so who's one of your favorite women in history?
Oh my goodness. Well, that's wow. That's hard to narrow down because there is so much of me. Like every time I do a video, I find a new reason to love being a woman. Whereas when I was growing up, I was always taught that, you sit down and shut up and you do what he told you to do. So gosh, yeah, I love the strong women. Like I just did one today on Mathilde de Morny, which was it was to carry off of my other one about Colette that I did the other day. They were lovers, and just how much all the women are suppressed from history if they've offended a man. But you know what? My pinned video is Ludmila Pavlichenko, Lady Death. And oh my gosh, that was my first video to ever get over 20,000 views. So I was like, but just the fact that, she went on tour in America in her Russian uniform, and our newspapers were talking about her appearance and could she wear makeup while she was in battle. And, she was like, yeah, we can, but who's got time for that?
Yeah, especially when you're like a badass sniper. Like,
Yeah.
what? There's a war going on. Pretty sure makeup may not be all that important. I don't know. Call me
Yeah.
funny.
And there was one quote, I'll have to look it up, but she had said something to the effect of, while American women are worrying about the color of their underwear, I'm taking out Nazis.
And she was.
Yeah, oh, she totally was. And the fact that the Germans were so intimidated by her and they tried to get her to come over to their side, and then when she wouldn't, they were just like, all right, fuck you, we're gonna cut you up in pieces. It was she was the first video that I really felt comfortable doing. Like I put myself into it, and then it went. And yeah, so I think that she is probably somebody I would want to aspire to, just because she looked at the men in the crowd and was like, how about you stop hiding behind me and do something? And that's the way it is most of the time. I mean, even today. But then we have the double bind, and that's the thing that bothers me the most is, we have to be demure but strong, and we have to be kowtowing to men, but we also have to be powerful in our own right, and we have to take care of our home and do our job and be creative and learn new things and look good doing it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven forbid, there are days that I want to make a video, but I don't feel like putting makeup on, and I cannot bring myself to do it because I'm just not going to let people see me. So,
Well, I mean, that's why I use filters sometimes. I just, with a 4-year-old and everything else is going on, I don't always have time to do this. Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty rare for me to do more than just eyeshadow, eyebrows, lip balm. That's it. That's all you get.
Yeah, I don't understand people who can wear lipstick because it always gets like caked up right here, and even the colors stay. Why am I talking about makeup? But
You can talk about whatever.
I don't like lipstick. I love eyeshadow. It's my thing. But yeah, it's going back to the TikTok thing. It's I did not take pride in being a woman until I tripped and fell into history. And now it frustrates me because I'm just like, when are you people going to start paying attention so we can stop reliving this?
Truer words. So true. Yeah, I was raised, like my grandfather was very much about me being strong and kind of independent and whatnot. And I was raised with really strong women. So for me, the concept of being demure and submissive just because I have a badge is like, what? Like, what planet are you on? Because I'm not on that planet. I don't know. I don't even know. So Shermere asks, how did you get into the women's history?
Well, I started out with me specifically, as you're asking me. For me, it started out, like I said, it was a guy who had said that I was just talking shit. So I went and I did the research and I did my very first 3-minute video, but it was on a guy. And I started looking at history because that one was interesting. And I started doing ones that I had said people in history that you wouldn't invite to dinner if you really knew who they were. And I started finding some shit. And I was like, ooh.
Those are videos. I was like, dude, I didn't know that. Jesus.
Those were fun. But then I did a video on a woman and I was just like, how have I never heard of her? Because she was so powerful. And I can't even remember what my first one was. Because, how did I not know? And then that was like, okay, what else don't I know? And there is so much that I'm finding now that I feel like I have to keep doing the women in history because we have not been given enough of a voice. Like I find so much that is intentionally suppressed because it offended a man. And like doing my video for today for Mathilde de Morny, there were rumors of different things that she had done. I didn't include them in my video because I was like, it sounded more like gossip that had been expanded upon to disparage her as much as possible. Like one of the stories, because she lived openly as a masculine lesbian, she had a double mastectomy and a hysterectomy. So some accounts say she was trans, but that's probably unfair because she herself called herself a woman. You know, she was a woman who loved women. And but one story was that she had to pay damages to a woman who, in a fit of passion, she unintentionally bit off her clitoris. Yeah. And then another one was that she was mourning a chambermaid who had died unexpectedly. Am I allowed to use those words here? TikTok is so different. Like, you can't say die.
Well, you're supposed to say, you know, kind of censor your words, but
I don't want to get you in trouble.
I mean, we're not talking about anything, you know, illegal or anything like that. And today, I am past the point of caring.
I am good with that. So, yeah, her other story was that she was mourning a chambermaid who had passed unexpectedly, and she ran to the mortuary and said, "I need to have her one more time." So, ew.
Yeah.
I don't think she was a necrophiliac. I think that she was a masculine woman who lived openly as a lesbian and chose to live her life in a way that was not acceptable then or now. And people disparaged her for that, and men were intimidated by that. And she was well known for being able to seduce women that men couldn't. She stole her brother's girlfriends.
I mean, maybe there was a reason the men couldn't seduce them. Maybe they were lesbians.
Right?
Yeah, so I don't know. That's just. Who is your favorite woman that you've researched and why? I think she already answered that. Really.
I mean, really, it would be so with my favorite women and why it would be so hard to narrow one down, because every time I do a new video, she's my favorite woman, because it gives me another reason to look within myself and realize that I have been strong all these years, but I was conditioned by Catholicism and an abusive father and a woman who backed up my abusive father. I don't even call her my mom anymore. To never speak up against a man. I was taught never to speak up against authority. So like the fact that I spoke up against my supervisor is huge for me. It's huge because I've always been the person who will take every bit of shit you deal out to me, chew it up, spit it out for you to re-deal back to me. I would always take everything lying down. So every day when I research a new woman, she's my favorite woman. I have these notebooks that I take. I literally like take my notes. I highlight what I want to include. I number it, so I do it in the right order. I try to make it
I think
this is officially the coolest thing I've ever done.
I think you lagged for a second there, but yeah, I get you. I do that with a lot of the time with the streams on here. I will, have everything kind of scripted out, especially if I'm talking like a serial offender. Then the timeline might be really, really intense. So but on TikTok, I'm more just talking about things and stuff, right? I don't know. Over there, it's, man, the trolls are unreal over there.
Yeah.
Hey, Robin. We've been on since it started at 6, but there was a kerfuffle at the very beginning. So, yeah, it's been a day. It's been a day.
Blame
no,
me.
No.
Seriously.
It's been the internet is what it's been.
Speaking to that, even my mom had me convinced that if World War III ever happened, it would be my fault. So,
what?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I was the bane of her existence. I'm the eldest of 3. I am not in family portraits. I was told that I would never amount to anything more than my dad's brother, who was a heroin addict. yeah, so I grew up feeling pretty worthless and unsure of myself. I never had any of my interests encouraged. So now that I'm in my 40s and I'm like, oh my God, I'm middle aged. I'm not going to live forever. Um, I finally am. I grew a brass set of egg baskets. That's what we're going to say because I don't have brass balls. And I'm finally finding my voice. And it is unbelievable how angry I am that I never had anybody to encourage me to do that. And I've had to do it on my own. So I envy you for your strength. I really do.
That's man. So part of what I do behind the scenes that people don't see is I help people in abusive situations. And normally on here we talk about abuse tactics, DV situations, and DV is not always a significant other causing the harm.
Mm-hmm.
It can be parents, it can be siblings, family members, it can be a roommate, because that's a domestic situation in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're describing, that's abuse.
Oh yeah, there was so much more. There was physical, there was mental, there was emotional, there was religious. Yeah, so I am no longer religious. I'm actually a Satanist and a witch.
So am I. Well, I'm a member of the Satanic Temple.
Same. I've got my membership up there.
Yeah. And for me, it's kind of a hope and a prayer that would help protect my, ability to live. Just kind of astounding how much this culture kind of attempts to beat down women a lot of the time. Little girls, young women, just women in general. Just be quiet, keep it sweet, all of that. And I don't agree with any of that. Yes.
Can't say that I've ever agreed with it, but I was conditioned to proliferate it.
Right.
And now I have two sons. Well, I have two children, and they've recently started exploring their own gender and sexuality and everything. And my elder son tells me he's gender fluid, and I am totally respectful of that. My younger son says that he is non-binary, and we are good with that. But he still uses he. So they're 12 and 13. But I'm not going to be like, you can't possibly know, because I've known I was bisexual since I was 5.
Yeah, I've always known how I am. I mean, as far back as I can remember. It's not something that when people say, "Oh, you grew into it or out of it," that's not how it is. It's just how you are. Like, there was no magic moment that made me the way I am. It's just how I am. I don't know. It's weird. Robin, there is nothing in this universe that says you have to be a bag lady. And anyone who said that to you, I'm just going to straight up say it. They're an asshole. And you have all of the potential, like right now. So that makes me want to take a tire knocker to that person and have a conversation with them about manners and treating people right. That's some bullshit right there. Okay, so at one point we were talking about who a couple of my favorite women in history are, and one is Enkidu Anna, and the other one is Hatshepsut.
I have them on my list. They're there. I have so many that I want to do. Oh my gosh. And the fact that there are so many depresses me.
Yeah.
It's infuriating. And I'm like, and the other thing that bothers me, I keep cutting you off. I'm so sorry, but it's one thing that really frustrates me is that I offer history in 3-minute bites. They're bite-sized chunks, and only about 10% of people stay for the entire video. Like,
it's weird.
It drives me insane when people they drop a comment and they're like, "Oh, by the way, this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I said that at the end of the video. Did you watch it?"
Weird. I would like to see you do longer videos on here, just because the format might be more conducive to you talking about these things in more detail, like these
Mhm.
humans who were silenced in more detail. That's just a me thing. I don't know if you would be interested in doing that, but I would definitely boost or try to boost your channel.
Yeah, my husband's actually been trying to talk me into doing a podcast.
That would be cool too.
I am ooh, sorry. I'm thinking about it. I'm still in that headspace where I don't know why people would want to hear anything that I have to say. I work in accounting, not the kind that they use. It's the real accounting.
I got you. I got you. When you said it was boring, I was like, yeah, that's got to be the regular old-fashioned accounting, not the juicy bits.
Deal with month end and all that fun stuff. I've been doing it for 20 years, so.
Yay. Actually, that's a really good idea, doing a podcast. That sounds like that would be really interesting. Yeah, so it just amazes me how people don't know the contributions that women have made throughout history. It's like there's an automatic assumption.
Mhm.
Oh, well, if that's there, a man must have done that. And that's,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
like with Enkidu Anna, nobody even realizes that a lot of her writings or hymns and all of that were used for like 2,000 or 3,000 years after she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
That's how influential she was. And people just, I'm going to turn my camera off right quick because my sinuses are going insane. So what you got about Enkidu Anna so far?
I haven't. I just have her on the list. I haven't actually started any research on her yet because I literally have like pages of names that people have given to me. That's the thing that surprises me too. They're like, could you do this one? Could you do that one? And like, to me, it's mind-boggling because literally I'm just good at Google. These people are all out there. I'm not like going to the library and going into the stacks, even though I would love to do that because the smell of old books is the best smell in the entire world.
This is true.
Oh my gosh. When I was a kid, totally off subject, but when I was in 6th grade, my friends and I would go to the library to play hide and seek in the stacks, and they could always find me first because I was always in the old section. So I'm predictable. But yeah, it's I totally lost my train of thought because I thought about the library. See, books are so important.
They are. Yes, they are.
How do I make the decision on the next person to research? Okay, so that one, sometimes it's because somebody comments on a video and says, hey, have you thought about this one? And I look them up and I'm like, ooh, they're interesting. Or I'll just go through my list. And like anytime I hear of a woman that I've never heard of, I put them on the list. And my only criteria for a video is that I haven't heard of them. Sometimes it's somebody I've heard of, like I am going to be doing a video on Marsha P. Johnson because damn it, I'm going to. I think she was a goddess and does not get the respect that she should have gotten.
Yeah,
but
her, Sylvia, and Stormy, all three of them.
My Stormy video, I was so happy about that one. I loved doing that one.
I was really happy to see that one because a lot of the time they're just like some woman, a woman. Like they don't actually acknowledge her name or who she was or what she did or what potentially happened. She's just some nameless woman, and that's really irritating. Actually, I knew someone who was there like right after all of the Stonewall stuff kind of died down a bit, and she knew Stormy and like many of the people who were there for Stonewall. So that was really interesting learning from her.
Yeah, I think my biggest regret on all of this is that I will never have the opportunity to sit down with them and ask them which parts of their lives they would like remembered, because I can go to Google and I can read the stories about what has been recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But how much of that was recorded from a masculine perspective, and I'm not getting the whole story. I know that that's the case with a lot of them. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, friggin' Kamala Harris. she has to defend her intelligence just for being vice president. Heaven forbid she has the audacity as a woman to be in the Oval Office. Sorry, I'm not going to get political. Sorry.
I think that's fine. My channel's been kind of out of necessity switching a bit more political lately because it, you know, with everything happening.
Yeah, it's unreal what's going on lately. But that in itself is another reason why I feel like it's important to do the videos. Maybe I'm not making a difference, but I'm learning, so I am able to pass that on to my sons, because I think it's just as important for the boys to learn it as for the girls, and for the he's, she's, theys, and everything in between. We all need to know this, because so much is determined by those old stuffy white men that don't know what it means to actually do something hard.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, if you look at Hatshepsut, you know, she basically ruled Egypt over one of the golden eras of Egypt. But after she passed away, she was basically erased from history. Like, they really went out of their way to try to kind of overshadow her, and she was just a blip, you know, in the ancient Egyptian radar. No, she was a significant ruler. I would say as significant as Ramses the Great, but they always downplay her. They don't talk about her leading her armies into battle and winning wars and all of her victories, all the good that she did. They don't talk about it. They always show her funerary temple, which is beautiful, but they don't talk about all her other great works and everything else she did. It's kind of irritating.
Well, and like I had my videos on Shang-Chi, speaking to that, you know, Shang-Chi, she was the most prolific pirate ever, but we hear about Blackbeard. He commanded 4 ships. She commanded 300.
She was a powerhouse, but she's a woman of color, you know, and of course you're going to have that Eurocentric, man-centric thing kicking. She was phenomenal. After I saw the video you made, I went and looked her up, and I was like, oh my God, like, she had her own empire effectively.
Yeah. I mean, she knew how to use her gender in the way that she could to get where she wanted to be. And then she just ruled it. And that's inspirational to me.
Mm-hmm.
Use it against them and then make them eat it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are a lot of women out there like that who are just either vilified straight up or erased or over-sexualized, like Cleopatra. I mean,
yeah,
the woman could speak multiple languages. She was really friggin' smart. But we'll just talk about how sexy she was.
And how she had to be killed by an asp.
Sure, except we'll just ignore the fact that what's-his-face was, he was problematic, that dude.
That's a very kind way to put it.
Yeah, he was not nice. Like, have you ever seen the series Rome on HBO?
No.
Oh, you should check it out. Oh my God. Okay, so the second season, they have Cleopatra on there, and the way that actress played Cleopatra was amazing. And at the end, when she's talking to what's-his-face, I'm not even going to say his name, she looks at him and she says, I can't remember it exactly, but it's along the lines of, you have a rotten soul. And just kind of rubs it into him, because she's in the process of unaliving.
Oh.
Now, of course, they're going to have to take some artistic license there, because nobody really knows what went down, because the victor writes the history, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
You know, the way they did it was really good, though. All right, you hold on. We got a intruder alert. Go back out in the living room, Boo Boo. She's going after the kitties.
Turn here while I'm trying to make food for you. That's very rude. Come on.
Oh, Goofish. She said kitties are in here. Fur. Robin says, isn't it funny how in history, when women did have ruling power, is always labeled as a golden age and usually marked by growth in arts and humanities, overall quality of life. Yes, indeed. And Hatshepsut was a prime example of that. Yes, indeed.
Mhm.
And there are other queens as well, but she's the most kind of the easiest to find information about.
Yeah. That's the
Um,
thing too. There's like it's so hard. You have to dig so deep for things because especially if they were powerful. And it's yeah, it just I keep coming back to frustrating, but it's so frustrating. And then the
Oh.
other thing, like on TV, because you mentioned HBO, like because my husband watches Game of Thrones. I love the characters in Game of Thrones. I can't watch it. I sob my way through it because I'm a weenie. But like House of the Dragon, I have Baby Drogon tattooed on my arm, so I love dragons. But we were talking about the fact that in fictional accounts, when you see it on TV or in movies, 9 times out of 10, if a woman is powerful, she's ugly.
yeah, or she's evil and crazy.
Yeah.
Circe in the first series, I guess, she, of course, she's crazy. She's highly unstable. Like, and the same with Daenerys. She
Mhm.
turns out to be, like, is it possible for them to show a woman who's in a position of power and not crazy or over-sexualized or ugly or something like that? Like, can we just stop with the tropes already? That would have been. Rome went so far as to try to reproduce the blue glass that Romans loved so much, and just like a bunch of different things. If you're watching Rome on HBO, look at the background. Look at like the walls, the graffiti they'll have on walls. That's actually historically accurate. Now, there are some things that are not accurate, like they couldn't do certain things, but like, yeah, it's the first time I watched that, I was like, oh my God. And one of my friends who is an archaeologist in Rome was
Oh my
blown
God.
away. She was blown away by that series. And I really wish they would have continued with it. It's one of those series I'm like, why did you cancel that? Like, what is wrong with you? It was so good.
Because people don't like the truth.
And that series showed really strong women. There were several of them. It's a really good series. I don't want to say anything to ruin it for you, but oh my God, it's so good. I might have to
tell you
go.
what I'm doing this weekend.
I might have to go and watch it because it's just so good. Especially the way they did Cleopatra. She was not like, who was the woman who played Cleopatra in the movie? What was her name? With the purple eyes, black hair, pale skin. I see her or think of her, I think Goddess. I don't ever remember her name. I know somebody in the chat will. Hey Wanda, how you doing?
Elizabeth Taylor?
Yes. I mean, when she played Cleopatra, it was just all about the sexualization, it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And there's way more to Cleopatra.
There's way more to all of them, and they intimidate men, and yeah.
Right on, Wanda. We'll see you later. I'm going to be streaming again, like, I used to before Hurricane Ida. Oh my God, he's making biscuits. It's not time for food yet, but we'll get there. It sucks how, and Rome does a really good job of representing how women could be just completely isolated if the patriarch and the family decided.
Yes.
They did a good job of showing just how in control men were and still are. And
totally.
that's why I keep saying we need to bring back matriarchy, because enough of this already. Like, but yeah, Are you adding to your notes?
I was writing down Rome, and I'm like, ooh, look for that, and look for that, and then I was like, ooh, I have that one. I should do that one next. So yeah, like, but it's like I can go back as far as I want, or to modern times, and there's just so much. I'm never going to run out of material. I'm going to get bored before I run out of material.
That is true, because I mean, there was the one woman who was a painter who was Ard by her mentor, and then
Yes,
that was,
I've got her right here.
and then there's the whole theory that Mozart didn't actually write all of his music. His sister wrote some of it, but she was like, you know, written out of history.
I don't know how true it is, but I had read a book called The Other Einstein, and it was written from the perspective of Einstein's first wife, and took the stance. And I've read other evidence that it could be true that she actually wrote most of the theory of relativity, and then he took credit for it because he was a dude. But like that whole book, it was a fictionalized version, and I read that one and I got so angry, and now I hate Einstein.
Well, then you have Jung and Freud. Apparently, they might have gotten a lot of their theories and ideas from a woman. I can't remember her name now. I have it written down somewhere, but
yes, yeah, I did both of them, and I don't have, that's not in my notebook that I have here. Artemisia Gentileschi. She was the artist you were talking about.
Right, her paintings are phenomenal, by the way. And then you have Elizabeth Bathory. I don't know if you heard about her.
The Blood Countess.
Yeah.
I did one on her too.
Yeah. I think a lot of what was said, I had to write a paper about her. And I'm like, a lot of this sounds like rumor. This sounds like men who are butthurt because she was so wealthy and powerful. Like, this just sounds like straight up BS. Like, if she would have unalived that many people, you would have had all kinds of evidence all over the place. I only know this because it's what I do. I write papers about serial killers and stuff. That's,
oh my gosh, you have a way more fascinating life than I do.
It's dark, dude. It's slightly depressing and scary, and I have weapons all over my house, like hidden up high so baby girl can't get to them. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, hell no. I just helped write some stuff for, yet again, I don't know why they do this, but they made this next series about Dahmer douchebag.
I won't be watching that.
Yeah, I watched 15 minutes and then I turned it off and gave it a thumbs down. Everything I could to be like, because do we really need it? So this paper that I was helping on was comparing and contrasting, because they said they were being really ultra realistic, right? But they got a lot wrong. Like, I didn't even watch it. A friend of mine watched it and then gave me his synopsis, and I was like, that person didn't even live in that building. Like, what? What are you talking? Like, they misrepresented so many things. But yet again, you got women in a situation who were warning people and not being listened to.
Yeah.
There were several of them warning law enforcement, and they only showed the one woman. They incorporated several different women into one, because woman of color.
Of course.
That's 2 strikes against her. 4, that's 3. It's just typical.
Yeah, and I had read that the victims' families had asked them not to make it, and that alone is enough reason for me not to watch it.
Well, and I'm sick of seeing these offenders glorified. How's about we start doing movies and stuff that show the victims and their loved ones and their friends and all the community that is affected, how they are affected, but don't show the offenders, especially if they're no longer on this planet. Just don't give them nothing.
Yeah, and it would also be nice if platforms like TikTok would remove the arbitrary having to say unalive when you're telling a story. I got a community guidelines violation because I used a vomit emoji.
A what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No, that was my first ever community guidelines violation because I had commented on somebody's video where they talked about snow and I was like, ew, gross. And I used the vomit emoji and immediately I got a CGV.
That's insane.
And it's so frustrating because when I'm doing my videos, I want to use the real words. I'm just telling you stories from history. And then, I have to say schmatzi or Yahtzee. And then I see somebody tell an off-color joke using the word Nazi. And there's flies. Mine gets taken down.
Yeah. I've had that happen too. Yeah, I was talking about the history and how history repeats, right? So I was talking about Nazis. I love calling them Nazis because
that's amazing.
Any way to punch them in the throat, I'll do it. So, it's like they took down my video and I'm like, I was talking about history, actual documented, verifiable friggin' history. What in the hell, dude? That's so weird and so random.
So you said you are into history way more than I am. So who is your favorite woman from history?
Oh, there are so many. Oh my God. Enkidu Anna is probably the first one. And then Hatshepsut. I have a theory that many of the gods and goddesses that we read about are actually based on actual humans that lived a long time ago and then became legend over time. Kind of like with Elvis.
Yeah.
How he at one point had his own religion going, right?
Yeah.
It's just a theory. It's just a thought. But Ma'at is one of my favorite goddesses. And the fact that the foundation of civilization and the essence that brings order out of chaos is feminine. I love that. Like, that just, it just tweaks me in the best way possible.
I mean, it's absolutely true.
Yeah. What about women who wrote under male pen names? Yeah, that still happens to this day, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. Even Anne Rice did it. I have a series out there. It was The Taming of Beauty, I think it was, or something like that. It was a retelling of Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, it was pretty twisted.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, that was even written under a guy's name, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of women do that. J.K. Rowling, there's a thought that, if I remember correctly, before she went off the rails, I read an interview that she did the first two initials, and a lot of women will do that, the first two initials, because if people see a woman's name, they automatically like, it's probably not going to be that good, whatever, because there's still so much bias in this culture.
Yeah, and it's like I was saying the other day, and when I went back to college, I learned all this stuff I wish I hadn't learned. But like learning that we are a societal minority, but a statistical majority, and yet it still happens. Yeah. I wish I knew how to inspire people and organize them to a degree that men could just sit down and shut the fuck up.
I mean, I don't know if that'll ever happen. But yeah, I was there's been a lot going on for me, but I've been trying to put together a group of kind of a coalition of women, if you will, all women. And man, the amount of butthurt men, I cannot even tell you. Cannot even begin to tell you. Wow. So Robin, was anyone ever brought to justice over that, or? Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. It's really sad.
I can't even imagine.
Artists do it, painters and illustrators. Yeah. Yep. I know somebody who, she's a comic book illustrator, and she also works for like video games and all kinds of other stuff. And she doesn't use her real name. She uses a man's name. She masculinized her real name. And only people who like work with her know that that's her for this reason. Yeah.
It drives me insane. Yeah, it's repeated over and over and over again in the things that I'm finding, and there are days when I just hang it up and I'm like, I don't have it today. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired of telling the same story over and over, and then having men comment and be like, "But what about?" No, not what about.
No, what about isms here? Like,
Yeah.
I had this creepy dude who was borderline stalker, like to the point I was like, look, my next thing to do will be to go to the police if you don't leave me alone. But he's like, women haven't created anything. And I'm like, well, then how are you here? Explain it to me, because it kind of seems like you came from a uterus, right?
Probably. Unless you were
You
pissed
broke-
on a rock and hatched by the sun.
I mean, or maybe, you know, Zeus had his head struck open. I don't know. Like, what? Figure it out, dude. Women don't ever create anything. I was like, oh, oh, so you came out of a cave. Okay, we get it. Wow. And later,
Oh my
see,
gosh.
they do that a lot, though. They do that a lot. Retract their confession. Yeah, this standard, typical. Wow. Yeah, it's weird, the things that here lately, I don't know what has happened. In the past 10 years or so, I would say that things have gotten worse with men.
Yes.
And I don't know what the catalyst is. I think it's, you know, like, what was that guy's name? Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate or whatever. Like these guys who think everything has to be male-centric. And if you give women any kind of space, they need to be able to come in, say and do whatever they want, hurt whomever they want in whatever way they want, and that's fine. We just coddle them, we forgive them. We're like, oh, well, you know, we make all kinds of excuses. No, not here, we don't. And I think that ultimately women are going to have to get to that point where we just don't take any more ish, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
Like what's going on in Iran right now is, wow.
Yeah.
That's,
I you know, and I worry, like, I feel like the writing is on the wall and this country is going to try to follow suit and take it to the next level. And that terrifies me. It really does, because
yeah, it's, well, one of the things that was kind of like a work of love for a long time is, I was helping with a group to try to help codify several things, like rights for women, POC, LGBTQ+, and whatnot. And there's this thing called dominionist Christianity. Now, this is not real Christianity by a long shot. And part of what they want to do is take all rights away from women. So no voting, no owning property, just nothing for women. So they want to take us back in time. And when I look at Iran and what's happening there and in other places, and here what women are kind of coming up, right? I'm like, well, by doing this and laying all your cards on the table, you might actually inspire women to step up and take over. Good job.
Yeah, I shared a poetry slam earlier today, and I was just like, every single word of this, because she was saying, you know what? You taught us to be angry. You taught us to, you know, that you said we're crazy. Well, guess what? You're going to eat our crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
in.
And what I'm noticing is a lot of abuse tactics are being used by politicians now. So the smear campaigns, preemptive smear campaigns, pushing this idea that women are just too emotional, too crazy. It's the slut's defense. It's the nuts or sluts defense. Oh, you want free access to full health care, even for your reproductive organs? Well, you must be a slut then. You're just irresponsible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, based on some criteria, I'm not a woman anymore because I no longer have my uterus.
Man, I think about that. I'm like, no more periods.
Right? It's so amazing. I still get PMS though. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, and part of the reason that I just had my hysterectomy in August, and I've been asking for 10 years to have it ever since my youngest son was born, and we knew he was going to survive because he was a 30-week preemie. He lived in the NICU. I lived in the hospital for 6 weeks trying to stay pregnant. So it was like, if he didn't survive, I wanted an opportunity to try again. Sad as that sounds, but as soon as we knew he was going to survive, my husband went and got a vasectomy. No questions asked. I asked for a hysterectomy. No, you're still too young. I asked again. No, your husband might want more kids. No, he clearly does not. Well, you might want more kids. No, I don't.
I had a video talking about this very subject go kind of viral, and I was astonished. I had just so many comments in the comment section, but then I also had people reaching out to me on Twitter and other platforms, like privately, talking about their experiences. And I mean, oh my God, the horror stories of women who had cancer, like cervical, uterine, ovarian, you name it, and still told, no. We'll put you through all this horrendous chemo and radiation and everything else and try to preserve your reproductive organs. But that can all make you sterile after.
Yeah.
Like
so what's the point?
Yeah. So I mean, it was astonishing, and how hard it is for white women to get sterilized, but not for women of color.
Yes.
Like, and the same goes for men with vasectomies. There were quite a few white men who had a hard time getting vasectomies. It seemed to really be determined by where they are in the country, the doctor and the nurses. Like, it's all arbitrary.
Yeah.
One guy he went to 5 different doctors and finally found the one doctor that would do the vasectomy without giving him all kinds of hoops to jump through, and he was in a red state.
Oh my gosh.
So they were really trying to push for him to have babies, and he's like, he had he was a carrier for a genetic anomaly, and he's like, I'm never having babies, and here's why.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, I'll do it myself. And he had to get to that point, and we had this amazing conversation where he was like, if it was that hard for me and women are saying it's hard for them, I can only imagine, because this country is just, it's so weird. And when you look at Betsy DeVos and all these other people saying we need a surplus of white babies, and like, what? Bitch, what?
Yeah, it is unreal. Yeah, and with my experience, I was at the point where I was having abnormal paps every year. So she was doing 2 a year. I was having a colposcopy every year. And the last time she was doing the colposcopy, she was like, oh no, I shredded her cervix. And I was like, okay, can we be done with this now? I would like to have a hysterectomy. And she's like, well, if I remove your uterus, it's going to cause all kinds of other problems because your organs will shift downward. And I'm like, is my liver going to fall into my fupa? Is that what you're telling me? So I finally went to another place, and she looked at my records and she was like, I have no idea why she didn't do this for you. I'm so sorry. And she scheduled me the very next month, and I had it done. But then after the surgery, I went for my follow-up, and she's like, okay, everything looked okay other than the fact that you had all those fibroids in there. And I'm like, I had fibroids? And she said, well, it was in your chart from the other doctor. You didn't know? No, I didn't.
Wow. They did not tell you?
I didn't know I had fibroid tumors in my uterus until the new doctor took it out and told me, even though it was in my chart.
Like, I only know that because I had there were problems. There were problems, and I had a ultrasound, and wow, when you can see stuff on the ultrasound, you're like, what is that? that doesn't look normal. And they're like, oh, it's no big deal. What is that?
Yeah.
Oh, those are cysts. Those are fibroids. What?
Yeah.
That explains a lot. Thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like they said I had a bunch of endometriosis, and she was able to remove that, and it is unbelievable how much the rest of my body feels good since the endometriosis is gone. It's unreal.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with history. I'm so sorry.
But in a way it does, because this is also women being silenced, which is what has been going on for who knows how long. And medically, like, women are silenced all the time. I mean, I have had doctors sit there and talk to me like I'm just a full-on dumbass. And I'm like, are we just going to ignore the ridiculous amount of books I've read and the college degrees and all of these things? Why are you talking to me like I'm a child?
And heaven forbid that you know what's happening within your own body.
Yeah, I told the one doctor, I was like, I want you to imagine that I have a penis. Now proceed to speaking with me, okay? If you need, I'll get a strap on. Would that make
Oh my God, I love you so much.
I mean, he ticked me off so bad. I was like, look, I will go home, grab a strap on. Yes, I do have one. I'll put it on, come back in here. I'll have it, appropriate. And you can just act like I'm a dude. You want me to draw on a mustache too? Like, what do you need? So that you will talk to me like I'm a human. How can we fix
so
this?
much?
Well, I ended up firing him, and I called his office and told them I'm firing him, just so you know. And I'm going to this other doctor who actually got stuff done and went through the process of finally giving me my diagnosis after I think it was 10 years, 11 years.
Wow.
That's how long it took. Yeah.
It shouldn't have to be such a fight.
But it is for most women. It's ridiculous still. I think, I don't know. I'm thinking that women just need to start getting just really
Angry.
incredibly bitchy when we talk to, when men, doctors, whoever, just really, are you that much of a dumbass? Like,
yeah, and like I've recently started using, I read it somewhere, when somebody cracks a joke, to disparage a woman or a person of color or a member of the rainbow alphabet. Why is that funny? Will you explain it to me? I don't understand why it's funny. Like, that has been such a huge tool. I never realized how powerful that could be.
Yeah, I've been doing that for years. And it's watching the facial expressions, and they're like, what? Yeah, explain it to me. Why is an R joke funny? Can you explain it to me? What is it you find funny about that? I would like to know. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm an ex-victims advocate, so why don't you tell me what is funny about it? And then they get real quiet real quick. And then you figure out, like, who's going to stick around and you're going to be able to be friends with. And here you're just like, yeah, I'm cutting that person loose. Bye. See ya.
Yes.
But, oh, here go my sinuses. Yay. Oh, joy. So, yeah, I actually look forward to your videos, by the way.
No pressure, though.
That's a compliment, though.
There was another guy who followed me. He's a historian, and he's got like over 100,000 followers, and he followed me first. And like, when I went and started watching his videos, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have to block you because you're intimidating me. And he literally sent me a message, and he was like, no, you're doing a great job. Don't stop because of me. But it's intimidating when people who are educated in history and spent more time in it than I have say, okay, you're doing a good job. And I'm like, but what if I stop doing a good job? I try so hard to make sure I'm using multiple sources and I'm cross-referencing, and I don't want anybody to be able to say, you're just putting shit out there to put it out there because it's interesting. Like, right. I'm not going to just make up stories. Like, I didn't include the stories about Missy because it was disparaging of her, and I can't prove it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it has been interesting to watch you progress and get more interested in history. Like, I didn't know at the time that was what I was watching, but it makes sense now. And seeing that progression, that's good though, because you could be encouraging other people to learn more history about women, which I think is pretty friggin' important.
Yeah, it is.
It's good to see.
I hope, I sincerely hope that people are seeing it and wanting to look deeper, and that I give all my sources so that they can go and look too. And yeah, it's just all of the things that I've experienced throughout my life, and even at my current job, there are situations there that should have been handled differently. I still work with a guy who's SA'd me. Yeah, it didn't happen at work. So it was 11 years ago, and I reported it to them the day after it happened. And they said, okay. And they let me sit at a different desk for one day. And then they called me into HR and said, well, what do you expect us to do about it? It didn't happen at work. And I'm
It doesn't
like,
matter.
yeah. So I said, I'm not asking you to do anything to him. I just want to be moved away so I don't have to hear his voice. Nope, sorry, we don't have room in the department. And so it was the VP of HR. And I said, okay, so I can't work like this. What do you expect me to do? And she's like, you're welcome to move along then. And this was before Me Too, so I'm sure it would have been handled differently after the fact. But he was arrested. I reported. He was arrested. He was convicted, but he was pled down to aggravated assault.
Of course.
And he did not have to register, and all he did was pay a fine. And now we've been working from home for 2.5 years, and now they're talking about calling us back into the office. He still works there. So I sent an email. I was so proud of myself. I sent an email to my supervisor, and I said, okay, I would like to know what measures are going to be taken to ensure I don't have to encounter him every day, because I will not live the rest of my career with this company facing him every day.
Yeah, that's that could fall under a category of, if he was convicted for harming you, then that could be a discrimination lawsuit.
Really?
Yeah, you might want to look at the. I'm trying to think of. You're here in Michigan, right?
Yes, I'm in Lansing.
Okay, so you might have to look it up. I know in New Orleans you would call the EEOC and the Better Business Bureau, and there would be a few different places. And actually, I don't know if it's the same here, but in Louisiana, if the judge found out that he was still working in the place where you work after he was convicted in Louisiana, my judge would have had a thing to say about that. Like, my judge might have broken his bench in half.
Well, and I've basically just swallowed it for all these years because I never had a backbone because of all my conditioning. And then TikTok. And now I'm finding my voice and I'm speaking up, and I'm like, I am not going to take this anymore. But it's been 11 years, so I don't know if I have any course of action at this point because I've just taken it for all this time.
Well, considering that 2 of those years, you were on lockdown because of the plague, right? So you weren't exposed to him, but now they want you to come back. Well, you want me to come back, you need to get rid of this dude who is convicted of harming me. Like, if
I am writing that website down. Thank you so much.
If I were you, I would bless them publicly. I would let everybody know the ish they've been up to, especially after Me Too. Like, they're probably not going to want that kind of PR.
Well,
so use it.
As I said, I've just taken it because, number one, I'm the one that carries the insurance. I need the insurance. I get 6 weeks of PTO, and that's nothing to sneeze at. I'm giving you all of my excuses to be a victim. I pay the bills. I'm the one that pays the most of the bills, while my husband, we chose for him to be a stay-at-home dad. So I took that role. So I feel like I can't speak up because I need my job. And there was another time, oh my gosh, here it comes. Very recently, right before COVID, they were having him come over to train my coworker across the aisle from me. And I was like, I asked her, could you just let me know when he's going to be over here? I'll leave my desk. I don't want to be around him. So she asked me why. So I was honest and I told her. And so she was uncomfortable and she went to our supervisor. And then I was called into the office and told that I am no longer allowed to speak about it, or I would be reprimanded because it makes me look bad.
No, it doesn't. That makes them look bad. And it makes him look bad. It doesn't make you look bad.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not been handled well at all. So I sent the email. I CC'd myself at home. I CC'd my husband. And if nothing is done, if it isn't addressed, because she said, well, when plans are in motion, we'll talk about it. So if nothing is done and I continue to hear crickets, I'm going to accelerate it to HR because I have a relationship with the new VP of HR. So, but yeah, it took this long for me to feel brave enough to even stand up for myself in this instance.
Yeah, and see, that's actually normal. A lot of survivors go through that, and it happens, unfortunately, a lot more in workplace environments than people realize. That's why I try to always say that abuse can happen anywhere, right?
Mhm.
It can be, workplace, family, friends.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Just to take that story a step further. I'm sorry. I'm going to jack your whole feed here because now I'm on it. But
As go
there
ahead.
was we have a cafe where I work. Not to a point where I'm willing to say who it is yet, but we have a cafe. And for my birthday, my husband came to take me and have lunch in the cafe. He surprised me, and they let him in. He came to my desk, and we went to go and say hi to my manager so I could go get lunch. And my husband is about 5'7", 160 ish. The guy who essayed me is 6'4" and about 300. Okay. When he saw my husband, he called security and said he was afraid, and they banned my husband from campus, but they would not move my desk away from him. So his comfort, his place in the company, his standing is far more important than mine.
Yeah, see, that's an abuse tactic. Him trying to keep your husband off campus clearly shows that he knows what he did was wrong, right? In his mind, he should have repercussions for what he did from your husband because, and I guarantee you, in his mind, you are your husband's property,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, yeah, so they're going out of their way to coddle this guy. Why?
Right.
Why? Because
I
that's
keep saying, what does he have on them? What does he have on them? Because they know it's there. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm not gonna let it drop anymore.
Straight up, he has a penis.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
and it drives me crazy that it was women defending him. It still is women defending him.
wow.
So yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, with many of these companies, the only way you can get anywhere is to publicly shame them for them
Yeah.
to realize that they can't just do anything they want, especially when it comes to someone who SA'd you. It may not have been at work, but how much time do you spend at work?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time at work.
Yeah. And then I
With-
finally got this little bit of healing over the last 2.5 years. And now they're throwing me right back into it. And as soon as they sent out the email, my anxiety has been up here.
Mhm. Yeah. And as women, they should know better. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand. That makes no sense to me. I mean, as somebody who ran an office for many years, they would not want me up in there running. A lot of people would be gone. I'd be like, oh, you're gone, and you're gone, and you're our apologist. Bye.
Yeah. I feel, and I feel completely responsible because I just went ahead and I'm like, okay, I need this job. I'm sorry. I will shut up.
Yeah, but see, that's what a lot of companies do and have been doing. And now I hope that we have reached the point where women will just say, no, I'm not going to tolerate this shit anymore. You know, we can force things to be better. We can force it because there are so many women. If all of the women stop spending our money on things, and if we just stop taking any shit from men, they'll have no choice but to change.
That would be nice. And that's why I wish I knew how to organize. Come follow me. Let's make this world a better place.
I mean, yeah, that whole idea of hurt dogs holler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what that is. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, like he needs to lose his job. He shouldn't even still be working there.
I agree. But
That is
here we
insane.
are. But you know what? I wrote down those websites that were in the chat. I am totally going to look out for those because, yeah, I am not in a position where I want to live the rest because I am still very many years away from retirement. I can early out at 55, but even that is still a decade away.
Yeah.
And to have to work with him every day. I keep apologizing, but I was here to talk about history, and now I'm talking about myself, and I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. We talk about all kinds of things on here. For example, I just had someone send me a message that is pretty messed up. How often do you suck the D? He didn't use, he used the word. Just now.
Wow.
Wow. That is amazing. He's really going for all of the disgust and
Wow. I do have to say that I've been very lucky in that I haven't had anybody send me direct messages that are inappropriate. I've never gotten a D pic. Nobody has slid into my DMs that way. So.
Oh yeah, but you're so lucky. You are so lucky because oh my God. There was a minute there where I just kept getting D pics, and I had copy and paste message, and you have sent me this picture of your own free will with your consent, right? And they're like, yeah, I did. Okay, bet, hold my beer. I'm going to give this picture to a group of women on Facebook, and they're going to criticize every inch, every few inches. Bet. Would you like me to let you know what they think?
Oh my gosh. I love you so much. You have no idea. I'm so glad that I agreed to do this.
Well, I mean, after they say they consented to giving you that picture and that you can do what you want with it,
Yeah.
then it becomes legal. Then you can share it. Yeah. Yep.
I love that. Play their game against them. I love that so much.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean,
so tiny.
I'm not trying to talk smack about anyone with a micro penis at all. But, well, like, if you're, oh God, if it crosses your mind to send a D pic, maybe take a shower first. Maybe clean the area around your desk and don't have jugs of whatever liquid. Like,
gross.
I don't even find that interesting anyway. They look like alien chest bursters to me. Okay, listen.
Oh my God, my son sleeps. My son sleeps with a stuffed face hugger.
No. I mean, if I want to see a nude, I want it to be artistic and tasteful and beautiful, and usually that comes with women. Now, there are some gorgeous men out there, but personal choice, I'd rather see classy, beautiful women, like in a painting, really.
Yes.
But a D pic, just randomly, I don't even know you. You don't say hi or nothing. It's just bam. What am I supposed to do with that? Nothing. What I am going to do, I'm going to give that to people who will make fun of it and drag it to filth. That's what I'm going to do. Yes.
Yeah, and I had seen something on Facebook or something like, make sure you have a D pic in your camera full roll so you can just send it back.
Yeah, right. But like one that's really big, like really monstrous.
Yes.
Is mine better than yours?
Yours is cute, but how about this?
Oh my God.
I have long said that if this is my third marriage and there will not be a fourth, but I have said that if this doesn't work out, I will never be with another man.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same.
It'll never happen.
There are just too many gorgeous women out there, and you don't have to put up with half the shit. Like,
yes.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Show me the muscle art.
Wait, what?
I'm just reading the comments here, and they're kind of cracking me up.
Yeah, some of them are pretty good.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh, is that a pinky? I love that might be my favorite one. Because we have a snake and we were feeding it pinkies for a while.
Oh, did you see the video? It was going on TikTok of the guy who had to be sedated to get a tattoo.
No.
Yeah, he was put under to get a tattoo. I'm like, he doesn't want to try to get the tattoos I have then, because he would not make it.
No,
Like,
I have a
down-
few.
Down my spine, like that hurt, dude.
Oh, yeah, I have a dragon that goes shoulder to shoulder and from like here to about mid back.
Mhm.
And it was fine, but yeah, the spine and the wingtips, I almost cried uncle.
Yeah, my wings go right here, and that spot right there, I realized that one spot is connected to every nerve in your body.
Oh no. You know
Every
what?
single one.
You're a badass. That's what that means.
Oh, I was not when that was going down. I was like, I want to connect. Oh God, this hurts. Like,
Oh my god.
but then too, when a woman gets an IUD inserted, there's nothing.
no.
There's no pain management whatsoever.
And-
But he gets put under
oh my god.
for a
Whoops.
tattoo. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, no. I had an IUD and I had to have it removed because it turned me into a raging bitch.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, birth control for women, it does messed up things
Yeah.
to us.
Yeah, I can't take estrogen because I ended up with a blood clot and I had a stroke when I was 27.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now you're sitting here listening to me tell you all of my life story.
It's all good. I mean, usually over here we talk about, quite frankly, a lot of what we talked about here, we talk about normally. But I'll go into like serial offenders and all that stuff. But it's good to have a break every once in a while. And I'm trying to get back into the flow of streaming on here. But yeah, yes, they do. Can confirm. Yes, they do.
Yeah, and try having one while you have to sit still through a contraction.
Men
Yeah. Yeah.
just have no idea.
They're
No
like,
idea.
are you having a contraction? Yes.
If you ask me that again, I will eat you.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, so Sharemare has called it. We are at the food section. Okay, so what's your favorite food? We try to do like, because I usually talk about dark things on here. We have a palate cleanser where we talk about food.
All right. My favorite food. Oh my gosh. French fries.
Oh God. Anything
I love
potato.
Yes.
Anything potato related. Yes,
Yes.
French fries. McDonald's French fries are pretty damn good.
Yes, they are top of the list for me. I like Rallies occasionally or
Yeah.
Checkers. Wendy's, if they get them crispy. I like my crispy fries and I like them a little soft in the middle.
If you're
Um,
ever here in Flint, there's a restaurant that has, if you're a carnivore, oh my God, they have so much. Just throw a stone and pick something. It's going to be really good. It's like a barbecue, and they have those, what do they call it? Steak French fries? Like
Oh, yeah, the thick
thick
ones. Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, there's a place here in Lansing called Meat, like just meat. And oh, they have the best mac and cheese I have ever had. And like, I'm a snob when it comes to my mac and cheese, and oh my gosh. But French fries, French fries are it for me.
hmm If you ever go to New Orleans,
I want to.
there's a place called Napoleon House.
Ooh.
It's a really, I think it's one of the oldest restaurants in New Orleans. It's really old, been around for a minute. And in the evenings, during the day, I always recommend sit in the first room that you go into by the windows when they're open. Speaking of.
Yeah, my husband just went to go pick up some food.
Yeah. Like go when they're open. They have the best po' boys. Probably my favorite po' boys. And then at night, Like I usually tell people go twice in one day. Go in the day for lunch, and then in the evening go for dinner. Their duck is astonishing. Like
Really?
I wish I could move that restaurant up here with all of the people that work there. Just move it into my house.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah, there's a place right down the road from me, actually. It's called Nola, and they have po' boys that I just cannot get enough. I love po' boys.
Okay, now, I'm gonna have to try this restaurant because we are snobby. I lived there for it was over 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
So it's
I
called
mean-
Nola.
Yep.
They make po' boys. They
Yeah.
best be good because he's from like the bayou. Like he will ridicule them if it's not good.
And that would
Like-
be totally cool. I've never been to Louisiana. I want to be, but I don't want to go during Mardi Gras. I don't want to do that typical shit.
Yeah,
Like, I just want to touch
Halloween.
something with history.
Halloween is way better. Like the month of October is really when you want to go. I love New Orleans for Halloween, for the whole month of October. There's always something going on.
Amazing.
Mardi Gras is not. There, there's
Yeah.
so much that happens during Mardi Gras that I do
Yeah,
not miss.
For me, it's just wanting to put my hands on things that are older than I can imagine. Like for when I graduated from college, the most recent time I went back for a second degree because I'm dumb. In 2019, I graduated, and the dojo where I teach, all of the people got together and they gave me a graduation present and sent me to London for a week. And my husband got us tickets to go into the formation of Stonehenge. Yes, it was.
What?
It was.
They don't allow people in Stonehenge anymore, do they?
Yeah, if you pay, you're not allowed to touch anything. But I got to go into the formation, and I cannot describe to you the energy that was there. It felt like going home, and it
Huh.
was overwhelming and amazing. And I did not mean to, but I accidentally kicked one of the stones on the way out, and the energy just zinged all the way up into my brain, through my body up into my brain. It was unbelievable. So if you ever get the chance, it's a pretty hefty price, but do it. It is standing outside of it is fine, but going into the circle is unparalleled.
There's a lot of human history there, though, like religious, spiritual history. So I'm kind of not surprised. Like,
Yeah.
I was in, because I've traveled all over the world. So I've been to England, but I was there for only a few days, and that was when I was working. So it was like a mad dash through for my clients. I saw buildings as we were driving by. That I was like, hi, like, damn it. Someday, I hope that someday we can, save up and do a vacation over there. Because I mean, Scotland, Roslyn Chapel. I got a list a mile long of places I want to go to. But then see, if I go over there, look, I'm going to be close to Italy.
Mhm.
I'm going to be close to Santorini, which was once called Thera, which means fear. And Egypt is just
Yeah.
a little bit over that way. If I go to Egypt, I may not come back. I may just or Scotland. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, it was hard to come back home because it was I had never been to Europe. It was my first time ever out of the United States, and just the biggest shock to me was the freshness of the food.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
tasted so good.
Yeah.
Like we are doing it wrong.
France. Oh my God. Like, listen. The food in France was so friggin' good. Like and I don't mean the more city kind of food. I mean like when we were out in the country. The food, my God, like somebody reached over and grabbed a tomato out of their garden and was like, oh, I need that for, and then just fresh, like everywhere. It was-
Yeah.
Man, the food was good.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that the fish and chips was any good because, like, when we went to Stonehenge, we got to eat in a 16th century pub. Like, it was the original, and was fish and chips with mushy peas and chocolate cake, and ew, it was so disgusting. The chocolate cake had no flavor, and the fish and chips were soggy, and the mushy peas were weird. So
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't eat very much when I was in England. I was like, what are you people serving? What is this? What are you doing? Like, do you know what seasoning is?
Why would you use mushy peas and like sugar? Chocolate cake should have sugar. Maybe I'm a weirdo.
Or even just like, I don't know. There's supposed to be some sort of taste.
Yeah.
You know
Something.
what I mean? Like,
Yes. I like
very
food. I wouldn't like food if I was eating that.
do not tell me things like this because I'll be like, bitch, I'm moving in.
An
in
Airbnb?
Get me. There's so much history there that
Double fried chicken with special sauce. Stop it. I'm hungry.
yes, we can go to Germany, Peru, and Egypt. Yes, we have to win the lottery, but yes, we can go there.
Yes, I desperately want to go to a Spanish-speaking country because I have spent so much time learning it and I want to use it.
I have to go to Peru and all of these places at some point because there's so much history there too. Like, just
Yes.
all over.
Yes, and all of the things that are being discovered in the rainforests, you know, and the LiDAR that they're doing and finding things. I'm just like, Josh Gates is my hero. He's
It's just amazing. And my partner, he's part Peruvian. His abuela was like, when I said that I've always wanted to go there and visit, she's like, where do you want to go? And we had this amazing conversation and she's like, oh yeah, I climbed to the top of that pyramid and that one. And we're like,
oh my gosh.
And like, yeah.
So my husband just texted me and said he's on his way back with food.
Right on. Yeah, I got food. I got really good biscuits and gravy and sausage sitting here looking at me. It's made from scratch.
Oh,
so good.
I'm jealous. I'm having Wendy's, but I'm getting fries.
I mean, Wendy's is good too. Yeah.
Big fries.
I used to take the Wendy's, the Frosties and dip the fries in the Frosty.
Yeah.
So good.
Are you even from Michigan if you don't do that?
I don't think so. I've introduced so many people to that and they're like, oh, that's really good. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. And Burners and Superman ice cream. Apparently it's different in other parts of the country.
Yeah, that's weird. In New Orleans, I had a bunch of people that I introduced Boston Coolers to, and they were like, ooh. Boston Coolers are so good.
I've never had a Whataburger.
I've never had a Whataburger either. I don't even know what that is.
I've had Five Guys, but taken out of context, that's really bad. So they really need to change their name.
Yeah.
It's been more than 5 in my lifetime, but anyway. So go eat and hydrate. See, you're wonderful.
I mean, we try. That's what my logo thing. Yeah, like the bottom part is a reminder to me to calm the fuck down.
I love
And
that.
the rest is for everyone else.
Love it.
Someday I'm gonna go over there and I'm just gonna like to really explore and get to know any place that you're visiting. I'm of the opinion that you need to be there for like a month or more.
Yes. A week is
It's not even remotely enough. Okay, everyone, we are gonna shut this down. It's been almost 2 hours, and this cigarette smells so good. What? You okay?
I didn't realize that I had, kept you for so long.
That's okay. It's fine. We had a really interesting conversation, and that is awesome. I am here for it. So this is Josh's channel, and we got Sharemare's. I miss Raising Cane's is what I miss, okay? Talk about good French fries. If you ever go to like New Orleans or Louisiana, check out Raising Cane's. Good stuff.
Some? All right. I am
5,000. Okay, so if there's a zombie apocalypse, you want to take over one of those castles, especially if they have like, you know, the door that, what do you call it?
The drawbridge.
Yes, perfect for a zombie apocalypse. All right, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go. You and me can talk for a moment after if you want, like when I shut this down. But thank y'all for being here. Remember, you have the right to say no. Your no should be respected. And if it isn't, don't let the men silence you. All right, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.